to Antiquities Roadshow. I'm your host, it's Tessa Bowers, and today I will be talking to you all about the Near East and ancient Egypt. Specifically, the focus will be on ancient Egypt, but it is important to discuss why both areas are important to be taught in history classes. Briefly, ancient Egypt is mentioned, especially the Nile and the female rulers like Cleopatra and Nefertiti. But there's more to it than that. Ancient Egypt persisted for roughly 3,000 years, and it contains so much history. The things about ancient Egypt that stuck out to me were the role of women, especially in the dynasties, how they could be important to the kings, especially being background rulers as well, like Nefertiti and what we know about her. Concurrently to that, the dynasties could often be overlapping. They could be incredibly complex at times, with undocumented kings being rulers, and then we do not have information regarding the following kings until the next dynasty and a king is now known. These blips in history are not talked about enough, especially for ancient Egypt. Other things about Egypt remain present today, specifically in jewelry and in pop culture. But the focus today is on jewelry, specifically about the scarab beetle, the eye of Horus, and cartouches, which often have names on them in hieroglyphs. With me today, an item we'll be evaluating is a scarab beetle ring. It is made out of sterling silver and was purchased approximately 4 years ago. Now, this ring doesn't just represent a fashion statement. It represents a continuation of the popularity of ancient Egypt into the modern day. Ancient Egypt still holds a very prominent presence in our daily lives. Scarab beetles are often known as dung beetles as well. They roll balls of dung with their hind legs backwards wherever they need to go. And when new scarab beetles come to life, they come from the ground, seemingly out of nowhere, like the morning sun. Now, the scarab beetle in ancient Egyptian culture was in association with the god Keber. He was the god of the rising sun, which is in part why they were so important in ancient Egyptian culture. And their value and their meaning changed throughout time. One thing that they did become was a seal. Oftentimes, ancient rings had the ability to open up, and inside was the name of an important figure that could easily stamp it and seal an object of importance or notarize an item. But now it is just a fashion statement, something that you can see and obviously deduce this is something ancient Egyptian. Otherwise, why would there be a bug on a ring on someone's finger unless you're just a fan of them? I've talked a lot about the scarab beetle. This would be a topic that I would continue to pursue if I were to write a paper about this. The importance of ancient Egyptian statements through jewelry and popular medias like movies and video games would be the topic of conversation that I would have. Although I would primarily identify the objectification of ancient Egypt as purely being a medium that can be profitable, not accurately reflecting the history that is there. Even though much of it is known, even more of it is unknown. Due to this unknown part of ancient Egyptian history, many parts are imaginatively recreated in the modern eye, especially in the Western gaze, where Egypt remains to be a fascinating subject for many. Now, the value of this ring is probably not that much. It would probably only go for $20 or so, but a real scarab ring that has a seal in it from ancient Egypt would go for much more and should be kept in a museum as well. Now, covering all these things about ancient Egypt and the scarab beetle and its importance, I just wanted to say thank you today for tuning in to Antiquities Roadshow.